everyone, and welcome to week 8. This week is our midterm exam week. We're going to be taking the midterm asynchronously, so this check-in is going to basically be about that. Now, as always, to get started this week, you'll head on over to Brightspace to our week 8 module. In that module this week, things are going to be a little bit different because there's no required lecture or reading materials, no discussion, and no quiz. So when you head on over to that module, what you're going to see is links to all the study materials, and those, remember, were posted already. Instructions for how to take the exam online, and of course, the exam itself. So when you are ready to take the exam, what you're going to see is that you have to complete the midterm exam honesty pledge first. You won't be able to take the exam until you complete this pledge. So if there are any questions, concerns, or just technical problems with it, let me know ASAP so that we can get that worked out so that you can take the midterm. Now, the midterm itself is asynchronous. You can take it anytime this week, but it must be submitted by 11:59 p.m. New York time on Sunday. So once you start the exam, though, you will only have 90 minutes to complete it. So that means that if you start it today, Monday, you will only have 90 minutes from when you open it to finish it, and it will submit at the end of 90 minutes. So it's asynchronous in that you can start it anytime, but once you start it, you must take it in that time. So just some considerations to keep in mind as we go forward with exam week. First off, testing accommodations. If you have not already been in touch with me about your Office of Disability Services approved accommodations, or if you feel you need accommodations that weren't approved, reach out to me right away. I can build these in for individuals on Brightspace, but I do actually need some notice to be able to get them in there for you. If you have reached out to me and I've not confirmed with you that I've received that email and made your accommodations, please reach out again. So if you've not reached out at all, or if you've not heard back from me, make sure to reach out as soon as possible. Now, other considerations. The test and the honesty pledge say that it is open book, but that you can't use unauthorized resources. So what does that mean? Well, it means basically that authorized resources are your book and your notes. There's no lockdown browser required. I feel that those have some technical challenges to them that often make them pretty inaccessible for certain groups of students. So we're not going to use that. You will take the exam on Brightspace just like you do your weekly quizzes. And again, the exam is open book and open note. That means you may use any of the class readings, including the CRUTS textbook, which of course is digitized and searchable. So you can use the little search function in the browser version of your CRUTS textbook to find terms or concepts that you may have forgotten about. You can also use your lecture materials, any notes you might make, and the study guide. So if you followed my instructions on the study guide to make yourself a little glossary out of the terms in the word bank, you can have that open for you. And use that while you're taking the exam. You cannot use the internet at large or generative AI like ChatGPT or any of the other tools out there. Using unauthorized resources like the internet or generative AI isn't just cheating, it's also really unhelpful. Generative AI is just basically really smart autocorrect, which means it's not always as great at doing sort of technical, precise things like taking exams on a specific discipline. And also, Google may point you in the wrong direction. If you Google a question, Google isn't always going to know the context, and it might point you to the wrong thing. So aside from the fact that it is cheating, academic dishonesty, and can get you a 0 in the exam and potentially sanctions from the Dean of Students as well, it's just not helpful. So I really recommend taking the time to study, to get all these materials together for yourself before you start the exam, because if you just keep searching for every word in like the book or your notes, you're going to run out of time because there's that timer. But if you've prepared those materials in advance and looked at the study guide and feel like, okay, I know this stuff at least reasonably well going in, you should be fine, and you should not need sort of the internet. Also, if you're Googling every single question, it's going to take you too long. So makeup exams. You have the whole week to take the exam. I don't anticipate needing to grant makeup exams. However, obviously, I can't anticipate everything that would happen this week. So if you do wind up feeling like you need a makeup exam, reach out as soon as possible. I'm going to require a very clear rationale as to why you need a makeup exam and can't just take it sometime asynchronously this week. And I'm very likely to request documentation to back up your reasoning. So just keep that in mind. If there are technical difficulties during the exam, such as your computer crashes or Brightspace starts doing a weird thing, email me, and if it's relevant, submit a BCIT help desk form as soon as you possibly can. I'm going to do my best to respond quickly, but because the exam is asynchronous and you have the whole week to take it, I may not be able to respond right away. This means basically two things. One, I understand that we may have to make accommodations and adjustments if there are issues like this, so don't stress if I don't get back to you right away. I know the asynchronous nature of this may make things a little funky with that. And two, you definitely shouldn't save the exam to the last minute, because if you are taking it after the Sunday, March 23rd deadline, it's not going to count for you. It's only ever going to let you take exams after that deadline under extreme circumstances, and tech issues almost never qualify as an extreme circumstance. So just leave yourself enough time that if there are issues, you have time to fix them, we have time to communicate about them if needed, and you still have time to take the exam this week. So office hours this week going to be a little bit funky, but keep an eye on Calendly for those, and also feel free to reach out anytime by email. I'm happy to answer questions by email or set up another time to meet. So have a great week and good luck on the exam.